name is Sharon Kenny. I'm here to talk to you about geology and civil engineering. And I have my email right there if you have any questions after this presentation that you would like to have answered, or if your students are very interested in these areas, I'll be more than happy to communicate by email. Here you see some logos. This is NOAA, NASA, the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, WHOI, and PRI, which stands for Project Resources Inc. NCAR, of course, you know them, and EPA. These are all representing agencies and private sector where I worked in the past. And right now I'm working at EPA, Environmental Protection Agency in Region 3. So I love being a geologist and being a civil engineer. I think myself as a nerd, and as you can see right there, that it's this desire to learn, to have the opportunity to do new things. And as a girl nerd, I usually incorporate myself into learning new things and obsessing about science and physics. And so these are things that maybe some of your students can identify with. Another thing is that I love what I do. I love my job. One of the reasons is because I get to apply the knowledge and also to solve problems. I think that's the key, and able to look at a solution from different areas and able to collaborate with others in finding ways to solve a problem. So many of you will be thinking about engineering, and you may have a lot of knowledge about what an engineer does and what type of engineers they are. But a geologist, not many people may know a geologist. And here I'm presenting some images and of what things that a geologist is. So, for example, you can see here a person standing in the volcano Mount Etna in Italy and studying the insides of our planet of Earth. And you can see also the next image where some geologists are looking at the faults in the surface of the Earth after an earthquake. I myself, I did some work with underground volcanoes. I was looking at different type of rocks from mid-ocean ridges, and that image right there represents Alvin, one of the submersible submarines that are that belong, I think, to MIT and Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, and they do a lot of sampling from very deep parts of the Earth and the ocean. And one of the things I can present here in this XKCD slide is when we realize the magnitude of what the Earth is, and in science, we just are amazed. And some people freak out and say, whoa, there's molten lava beneath my feet. So the next slide. What do I do as a geologist? Well, most of the times I look at maps, and either surface maps or geological maps, trying to identify where the source of a contamination is. Where I'm working right now at the EPA, we have people that are very specialized in this task. They are experts, subject matter experts, and they are the ones who provide the technical support to people like me. That way I can concentrate in other areas, such as being being a manager for the site, or looking at other types of parts of the project. But mainly a geologist just geologists sitting in my place will be looking at maps and trying to understand the under the surface, and what type of rocks are there, where is the groundwater at, and if there is a location where some tanks or have been placed in the past, or some waste has been dumped, then they can see where a plume might be migrating. It looks like somebody is having a trouble with slides. Is that correct? I'm going to go to the next slide. Julie, it looks like somebody, some people may not have access to looking at the presentation. There's something I can do from this end, let me know. So, what does a civil engineer do? And, I want you to look at the left of this slide, and some jokes by engineers that are working in the field of transportation. And the last one, the rotary super collider, it's one that I identify myself a lot of times when I'm trying to go somewhere, but I end up in a loop and all cut up. So civil engineers, they work with the construction. They look at ways to identify, for example, here a map of France, and it's showing the different levels of lead that are in this area near Paris. We make large bridges and large dams. We work in the oil sector also. And, these are examples of the magnitude of the projects that we work with. The photo in the bottom left represents the initial construction of the three gorges in China, in their river, when they were constructing this dam. So what have I done as a civil engineer? I have some pictures of me doing different things. One of them is in a helicopter. I was at Louisiana, helping after the Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Rita. We were doing some surveys of the area to see if we could find where large contamination was, and to provide support to different areas in the ground. I recently was invited to give another presentation. As you can see me there in the top one, I was in DC participating in a panel with the Science and Engineering Festival. One at the bottom, I was working in construction with a consulting firm, PRI, and I'm the third person from left to right, and you can see me also there mining a boat at one of the areas in Louisiana, also with after the hurricane. This is one of the things that we also do as civil engineers. We try to make companies understand that there are some that although karma, as it says here, karma it's not real. Regulation is, and I have worked in the past trying to assist companies into understanding the regulation and seeing ways that they could do better, that they could not only be on compliance and do the minimums, but also go beyond that and into their responsibility with their community, with the environment. You know many engineers. Here a few. One of them, I'm going to start with Jeannie Levitt. She was the first woman that was accepted to be a fighter pilot. You can see her there with an F-15. And this was kind of recent. This was 1993. So we are looking into, after the movie Top Gun in the late 80s. I love that movie. The role of the woman was limited in the armed forces, and it wasn't until 1993 that the woman was accepted to pilot these planes. The second person, it's Lonnie Johnson. He is also an aerospace engineer, and your kids may know him very well because he was the inventor of the Super Soaker. Everybody knows also Bill Nye, the science guy. We have at the bottom left, it's Dolph Lundgren. He was in a movie with, I think it's Rocky IV, Fifth. And he is a chemical engineer from Sweden. We have Neil Armstrong, also an engineer. He passed away recently. And Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter studied at the Naval Academy. And back then, when he did study, the term naval engineering, nuclear engineering was not being used yet. But the type of work he was doing was also related with engineering. Mm-hmm. I agree with Deb with their comments. Okay, so getting here was not easy. My parents were really poor. I was born in Puerto Rico, and being a nerd back in the 80s was not easy. As you can see, I was very overweight. I used glasses. I think the hardest part was having these dreams and hello, Carlos. Yeah, Puerto Rico. I think the most difficult portion of it is just wanting to do something, and instead of being able to explore a book or look at my encyclopedia, that was one of the things that I loved to do. I had to go to work at the age of 13 to pay for school supplies. So one of the things I want you guys to tell your students is that if I was able to make it, they can make it too. I think the key for my success was that I didn't give up, and I think that I kept trying and saying, even though I'm in this adversity, I'm gonna give all I can. So, yeah, the 80s. That was a really tough time in regards to looking at the challenges we were having with the environment. We had the Chernobyl disaster, the Challenger disaster, the Exxon Valdez event. We had the Bhopal, India, the explosion. And all these events, it was not only the environment that was endangered, it was people, their health. We're still seeing the effects from the explosion in Chernobyl. We're seeing again what happened with the oil spill in the Gulf just recently. And one of the things that I was able to understand from these events is that it was human error. It was not a hurricane that went by or a tsunami that just disabled a plant. These were situations where it could have been avoided if we had if we would have thought the risk before it even happened. So Michael, yes. Good to see that you were also part of the civil engineering group. I graduated from high school in 1988, and I went to University of Puerto Rico at Mayagüez to do my bachelor's degree. And from there, I got my master's degree in geology, specializing in geochemistry at the University of Florida. Go Gators! And then I did another master's degree, and it was in the University of Colorado at Boulder. This one was in the civil engineering. It's one of the things I want to present here to your students is that we not only we have to believe in ourselves and in order to move forward, but also we need to allow others to help us. And I had two great mentors, two professors that worked with me and that gave me their support, and that's how I was able to make it. One is the one on the left is Michael Perfit. He's from the University of Florida, and from the person on the right is Henry Dick. He's from MIT and the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution. Also, two of my friends, they were there when I needed them the most to motivate me, to help me understand some material. And this was Darisabel Perez in Puerto Rico and Rula Abudalo, the University of Colorado. So this is why we need scientists and engineers, because as I showed you in the slide about 1980, the 80s, we were having some acute problems. We were experiencing large problems, and now it looks like we're having even more challenges and they're in a larger scale. We're talking about the climate changing. We are talking about coral reefs dying. I was just in Puerto Rico this past August, and it's sad. It's sad just to look, just do some snorkeling, and coral reef is dead. It's 90% dead. It's so sad. We are experiencing drought here in the United States. And yes, that in the bird stomach is plastic, it's garbage. It's some birds and some in other marine species, they cannot recognize something that is not food, and they think that these lively colored plastic pieces are. So they die of starvation because they're not putting nutrients in them. And yes. So that's my presentation, and I want to give special thanks to my family, my two kids, the oldest one, the teenagers. They practiced with me, and my husband who helped me also some logistics. And one of the things I want to say also is that this is an informal presentation. It's not related to the official position of the EPA or the United States on the matters that I discussed today. So thank you for your time, and thank you, Julie, for having me here. Appreciate it.
If anybody has any questions, go ahead and type those in the chat window. Also, you can post them in a discussion forum, and we will share them with Sharon. If you don't have any right now, but have some later.
One of the things that I want to point out is all the pictures that I used in the I have the URLs if they were online, or all this information I have it documented. So if somebody's looking to learn more about a specific topic or wants to know where I found a certain photograph, I can share that with you. Yeah, the picture of the drought is really sad. Thank you, Anne. Let me see if I see the presentation, other questions in the past. Carlos from Puerto Rico. And are you in Puerto Rico right now, Carlos? And Joanne is in Pennsylvania, really nearby. Cool. Good. Florida, yes, as you know, I went to the University of Florida. So, yeah. So I think that's it. If so, anybody wants to
Hey, Sharon,
email me later
then there.
with the.
She asked, was the sea that turned red in China?
Oh, it's a mystery. They do not know. They don't know that's one of the rivers. I can't remember which one. Let me see if I find the URL really quickly. That is Yangtze River. And the date was this month. I was trying to open a website here. But if you, yes, I can't find the information directly right now. It just did the photo URL instead of the whole. But yes, this was in the news just like a week ago. That the oceans turned red and nobody knows what's happening. Hopefully they will have an answer by now. Yeah. It was in China.
Thank you, Sharon. I'm going to now switch it to Lee and Carol. So again, I appreciate you coming here today.